Hey, buddy.
See you later.
It's busy out here. There's lots of people.
Everybody leaving?
Yep.
No action taken.
You guys need me for much more?
We don't.
Okay. I'm happy to do it. I will be in touch. I'll probably use you as my contact. Just let you know what time where I'm at.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you guys.
She wanted me to ask what we're to do with that check.
Ask what?
What we're to do with that check that we got.
What did we get a check for?
Spelled out, or the duly recorded and just make notes of them later.
Well, we broadcast this actually now.
Oh, okay. You haven't paid a certain amount of money. You'll be famous
Oh,
today.
I would have thought it was on to the court.
You right there.
Insurance in it.
I think Matt has a copy of all this,
Okay.
so we just don't know what to do with this.
We'll get it taken care of. I'll watch myself talk.
The AFLAC was, Aflac, is that just some information?
No, I think, is Aflac here? That guy right there.
Yep.
You wanna come on up?
Oh, sure.
Are you Katie?
Yes, ma'am.
Nice to meet you.
I've been called worse, but yeah, that's
Have
not,
a
it's
seat
not
if you
giving me.
want.
I don't know about stud or sad or whatever.
Whatever's comfortable for you.
So I don't wanna take a lot of time today, y'all, and I
Let
know
me
this.
hold you
Oh.
up just a minute. I thought he's gonna be right here.
Okay.
Get her. You can show us your tattoo.
Okay. Yeah, so my daughter's birthday here. This is a tattoo of a jug, because that was my nickname. My dad always called me Jug because I got a big old head. Eagle because, you know, America. And yeah, samurai and all that stuff. Pretty cool.
Put some
Yeah.
money on those arms.
Yeah. Yeah, every time I look in here, I'm like, oh, something else. But too late now, you can't go. Can't undo it now.
Are you living in the area or are you coming to the?
Also, yeah, so that's not that long for us. We drive a lot, so it's no big deal for us.
Katie, this is Jack. Go ahead.
Oh, Jack.
Appreciate it.
So y'all, this is probably your favorite part. You get to, you see an insurance guy on the agenda, you get all excited, I know. Kidding. Really today, guys, I was just coming by because, just kind of do a little fact finding, because I know y'all had Aflac before. Apparently, from what I heard from the ladies in the office, it was a billing issue, it was a service issue, bad agent, you know, whatever. So really, we work with a lot of different counties in Oklahoma. We take care of stuff like Creek Nation in Oklahoma. Our office personally handles that. So really, I was just coming by just to kind of introduce myself. It's not my intention to try to earn anyone's business today or anything like that. Really, I just wanted to come introduce myself and just see about, again, kind of finding out what went wrong with y'all's last experience and just seeing how maybe we can provide a solution how I can earn your business in the future.
Would this not merely be a supplemental plan that would be optional to the employees?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you have a certain percentage of enrollment that would be required?
Well, so that, it kind of depends on which way we go, because, again, with those issues you had, with Aflac, there's like a large group side, which y'all would qualify for, because you have over 100 employees, y'all have 150 if I remember, and then that's called Aflac Group, and then there's the traditional side, which would be, you know, for groups under 100. So obviously, I don't know what you guys had or anything like that. So it kind of depends on which way we go. We probably want to put you on the big group side, because that would also fix your billing issues most likely. Because you had billing issues before, with this side, you just self-bill, so you literally, you just send Aflac whatever you deducted, and they give you a 10% margin of error, actually. But to answer your question, yes, we want the big side, big group side, we need 25 of 150, which I don't think would be an issue. But yeah, that'd be just, it does not have to be funded by y'all, it can be completely employee funded. Typically when we come in, we just tag along right with your major medical and all your other things in enrollment, just so everyone gets the same opportunity.
That could be started anytime, it wouldn't have to coincide with our.
No, it doesn't have to, we could do a mid, really, however y'all can set it up, we could do a mid-year now, because I'm assuming your guys' benefits are at the end of the year. I'm assuming. November, yeah, so probably for January 1st, so, yeah, we've had it sometimes where some folks are like, yeah, we wanna do it now, and then we could do what's called a mid-year enrollment now, and then at the end of the year, change your effective date and do it right along with everything else. I mean, so it's really up to y'all. We've got technology to kind of make enrollment easier.
Sounds like you know more about our background than I do. Do you know how many we had enrolled before? Did you talk to me about that?
From what she told me, it didn't seem like there was a ton of participation, and usually that is because of lack of education.
Mhm.
And so that's something we're really big on, is education and service. I want your employees to know what's offered to them and what it does do, what it doesn't do, and your employees, if we do get the opportunity to take care of them, they're calling us at our office. I literally pay someone in my office, all she does 8 to 5 is file claims and help employees with forms and, you know, whatever it is, because that's really the biggest thing. You've heard someone with a positive experience, they probably had a great agent. So if you heard someone with a bad experience, probably didn't have a good agent, which I got plenty of information when he stopped in that y'all did not, that seemed like that was the big, issue, was an agent.
Is there something you could put together, a flyer that would give some rates that
Yeah, I can put a whole
department heads
proposal
could
together. Yep.
disseminate and
I
see,
sure can.
kind of see what the interest is? and then we
Yep, I can
go
put
from there.
whole, proposal together for you guys. And I don't know if you want me to present that at another meeting, or if I need to,
No,
I don't know where to go from here.
We don't
but-
wanna have a required meeting, we just,
Yeah,
at
okay.
their own leisure,
Yeah.
where the department heads could disseminate the
Send it to the
information.
clerk's office. I know in the past we've had Aflac, and I think we had 4 people.
Yeah, I was about to say, it was very low. And
Another problem we have is we've got insurance policies, and they also offer, side.
yeah, there was, I think she said there was,
stuff, and next thing you know, you have 15 different.
Yeah.
rules in here.
and I totally understand that, and so we could, try to come in and compete and be your sole. That's usually easiest, because that way, like you said, we don't have 14 different companies that offer the same thing, and it gets confusing and.
Right. And our health insurance, they offer a deal now. with
Probably,
supplemental
I'm sure it's
already.
probably Blue Cross, and they probably had Dearborn, I think, and I'm just, obviously I don't know, I'm just assuming. But yeah, I mean, this is what we do.
Well, if we only had 4, and you're saying that we would need 25,
Yeah, like I said, it's,
That's the
typically,
reason it disappeared last time, was there was no interest in the county.
Yeah.
There was already programs on our existing insurance program for supplementals, and they were taking advantage of those instead of something out of the current policy.
yeah, and usually, again, I don't know, but usually it's lack of education. Like if we're not able to show them, like, hey, this is what Aflac is, which they may have not, I don't know, but typically if you have 150 people and 4 of them take it, it's because it just was not made aware to all of them, typically. But again, I wasn't here. Yeah, that could be a completely different story, I don't know,
Right.
but typically in my experience, that's what.
It was offered to everybody, and everybody's aware of it, but, there's only so many supplemental plans a person's gonna buy and afford.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of silly to buy 3 cancer plans, it doesn't make sense to do that.
So they've got lots of options there.
Yeah.
Like I say, a lot of them through our existing carriers, so
Mhm.
that's how I feel about it, honestly.
I'll go back to, if you wanna submit something in writing about rates or something, I would personally look at it
Yeah.
in terms of what we have as a supplemental that would be comparable to that, and that looks like something that is competitive enough, we'll
We
disseminate it out to
can
the.
definitely
Okay.
compete, absolutely.
Okay.
So where do I send that?
Let me
Clerk's
give
office.
you, yeah, they'll get it to us. The
Uh,
clerk's office?
No,
Oh, Michelle.
I'm trying to figure out which email I should give. If you'll go over across when you leave,
Okay, do they have like a,
Hey, I
Yes.
tell you what,
Yeah.
we need to,
yeah,
there's not a lot of interest here, except me.
Okay.
Send it to me.
okay. Because if I remember right, you'll have Sun Life and Globe Life maybe. It sounds like Dearborn too, if it's through your health insurance. It usually helps if I know what I'm competing against, but hey,
Just give us your best rate, don't worry about what you're
Okay.
competing against.
yes ma'am. Okay,
All
well,
right,
I appreciate y'all for your time.
Appreciate your
Yeah,
time.
thank you so much.
and you rescheduled for us, thank you, appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely.
yes, yeah.
Yeah,
call
me
me,
too.
yes, perfect.
Absolutely. So,
Thanks for
hey,
accommodating.
y'all done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did we get our second half yet on EPA?
Yep.
Yep,
We're all here now.
All
If
right.
you're ready for us.
you come up anywhere
Yep.
you wanna be here.
Thomas? Are you
Yep, I'm Thomas.
And then Todd, and who's the other?
That is Dan Kelly.
Dan who?
Dan Kelly.
I mean,
Sort of on a card.
You want us- yeah,
I'll
you
just stand. So you have my information.
Todd, how do you spell your last name?
Campbell, like the soup.
Hey guys, feel free to pull those chairs around, whatever.
And I apologize, I was told that we were on the agenda at 10:30, so.
Oh, you're early, we're
Yeah.
early, we're just moving along, so,
And he did tell me what time to be here, I just failed to.
now this man opened up for us.
He's pretty good at that.
Uh-huh.
So,
I'm good, thank you.
so I just wanted to come by and put a face to the name since you guys have heard my name. I sent a letter to Cody Zook, I believe it was a couple weeks ago. He shared it with you last week about,
Have you met Cody?
I've never actually met him in person, I've spoken to him on the phone.
Okay.
But yeah, so I had been in talks with him and discussions about some of the damage that's been done to the roads by our contractors and their trucks for the work that we're doing. And so I just wanted to come and kind of reiterate that we do intend to work with the county to help repair the roads that we've damaged with our trucks, because we are aware that it's happening. We didn't have anything in writing just because the way that the process works, until there's a portion of the road that's ready, we kind of don't put anything down. It's kind of a lawyer thing, from what I've heard. So our legal counsel was telling me, once we have something ready, we'll put something together. And I had actually forgotten about the section that was on Southeast 90th that we were finishing up on. So I went out there and took some photos and got the letter written for Cody. And so as we finish up on some of those roads, there'll be more letters that'll go out and more work that we'd be working with Cody on to help fix those roads. And so there's one other thing I wanted to mention is that we also have our contractor has a road grader that's grading those roads every day that they're working. So all day long, they can't get every road at the exact same time, obviously, because there's just one road grader, but they are out there every day that they're hauling to try and keep those roads as passable as possible. So especially on times when we get severe weather, it kind of takes some pressure off the county to have to go out and work on those roads, because our contractor's out there grading those roads. And so my contractor's actually in contact with Cody on certain things. When there's issues, Cody will call him, and I've advised him to kind of send emails so that we have everything in writing, just so there's no confusion on what was said, of what roads to use or what the intentions are for how ditches are to be worked and whatnot. So I just wanted to kind of come and reiterate to you guys that we will be working with you guys to help fix those roads that we're damaging.
I think one of our bigger issues was refusal to sign that road use agreement. Wasn't it, Cody?
Yep. My deal is the writing, just get something in writing, which me and Tom's talked whenever I gave you that paper that he sent. So I'm gonna respond back to Jason Smith, the guy he's talking about that works for him, on roads to use, so then we have something in writing, at least on my end. Now you got him on camera saying that he's gonna fix our roads whenever they're done. That's my issue with the road use agreement.
Are you gonna fix them when you're done, or are you gonna maintain them while you're using?
Well, the maintaining portion is the road grader, trying to keep them as passable as possible, because any work that we do to those roads before we're done hauling on them is just gonna be moot, because we're just gonna be hauling over those again and just continuing to damage them.
The issue we have is, I know I've personally had my butt reamed
Mhm.
because they're stuck in the middle of a county road in the rig. They have to actually call a wrecker out to get them out of the road.
Mhm. We've had issues with our trucks getting stuck in the road too. We're doing the best we can to make them as passable as possible. We're trying to get rock down when we can. It's something that, you know, there's differences in what money is getting put where at the moment for some of our contracts, although one of the things is that our new administration, they've prioritized lead as one of the things that EPA is going to be addressing. So we're probably going to have more work that's going to be happening, but the funding part of that, for some of that, it has to be written in, and I don't believe it was written in for that kind of work on those roads for this contract, because it wasn't anticipated. So we're doing the best we can to get rock down where we can to prevent stuff like that from people getting stuck in the roads. But at the moment, the best we can do is with our road grader. We're trying to keep it passable. We're putting rock down where we can. We're trying our best to keep it so that there's not issues like that. The weather hasn't been very helpful to us recently, especially with how much rain there's been. I think there's a little bit more that's coming today and tomorrow potentially, but hopefully when there's not as much rain, we won't have that issue happening. We'll get some more rock down. And the hope as well is that we'll be done with a majority of these haul roads within the next about 6 or 8 months. So that's where we're at right now for this current contract, with the majority of the damage that's happening from the trucks.
So you guys don't have any set aside money for road maintenance?
The set aside money is for the finished fix, essentially. So we can use some of that to try.
There's enough in there to actually fix the roads.
We have money planned.
Because I know on Chico Road, we told the same story, and guess what? No. EPA, oh, when are we done, this road's gonna be
Previous
so
history that
good,
makes
we're gonna
us nervous.
videotape it before and after, and it's trash to this day.
Well, I'm not sure what portion of that road that you're talking about where that didn't happen. I wasn't around for that. I'm planning to be here for
I'm just saying.
quite a while.
This
so
county's not had a good history with EPA.
and I'm trying to, you know, have a good relationship with you guys, since I'm gonna be involved with this for quite a while, is the intention. So I'm committed to helping you guys fix the roads where we've damaged them, and we have money set aside for that. Whether or not it's enough money, you know, we can do our best to try and get it to where we have enough money to do what's needed. But, you know, at the moment, until we're done and we've assessed the full damage, I don't know how much it would be at the moment. But we have money set aside that we plan for claims for these road issues.
You're not even committing to repairing the roads now, you're saying we're gonna try to have the funding.
I wrote a letter and signed it that said we have a road repair commitment. So the matter is that we have to get to the point where we assess what the damage is that EPA's done and speak with the county about the plans for the fix. And then the plan from there is how the county's gonna fix it, and then how we basically send the money. Because there's different processes we have to go to. We have to kind of see what the cost is and assess what it would cost us, and see if it's within line with what it would cost us, or less than what it would cost us to fix the road ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, what Thomas is communicating is that we would like as much communication from the county as well on these types of issues. I mean, we can't be in all places at all times, so we're not always aware of those things. If there's prior documentation on issues that have occurred in the past, and you've got that available, we would be very happy to look at that information.
I feel like the communication is people are getting stuck in the middle of the road, and fixing the road in 6 or 8 months when this project is over is not going to do a damn thing for you if your house is on fire and a fire truck can't get down the road, or if you need an ambulance and the ambulance can't get down the road.
The sheriff's department will literally not drive down the road you're on, they can't. They're impassable.
I've driven those roads several times. I'm not sure what days you're talking about where they're impassable, but I drive those roads every day that I'm out here, and I can get down the roads with my vehicle. I'm not driving major vehicles all the time with four-wheel drive, so I'm not sure what days that it's impassable if it's in the middle of a rainstorm, but we have our road graders out there doing the best to keep them as passable as possible.
As passable as possible.
Yeah, I can get down these roads that they're hauling on. There's lots of trucks on them, obviously, and we have to go slow when there's trucks, but I haven't had any issues when I've driven those roads in my vehicle.
Cody, didn't you say there was a spot where they were pulling?
On Swale, they pulled the ditches, and then we got rain, and whenever I drove it on a Sunday, my four-wheel drive truck that I was driving, I had to put in four-wheel drive.
I doubt you work on Sundays.
We don't work on Sundays, no. So they would have graded the road Friday if they were working, and if it's raining, a lot of times they're not working because it's just too muddy for them to get out to the actual work site, too much damage on the road, too much issues with the road, so they won't work on,
Clarifies the problem.
so.
For instance, if we would have pulled the ditch, we would have had to put rock on it before we left it, knowing that water was coming. So that's just how the road and bridge handles a road. If we ditch a road, we try to get some rock on it before we just leave it. So my issue is that your taxpayers in those areas that call me, they're used to the road being in better shape than what they are. And I don't know what to tell them other than I have Thomas's word that they're gonna be repaired. I feel that that's what I've relayed to you, Thomas, is that we don't have the writing thing. Until the other day, we got something, in the email.
Yes. I wasn't aware that there was something that the county roads and bridges would do before major rain events. If you wanna send me what you would
No, I'm
normally
saying
do,
if we ditched a road, if we pulled the ditches. And on that specific instance, that's that Sunday is whenever I saw that the ditches went through where the field entrances are to the wheat fields on the west side of the road from Swally south of Star. So that's whenever, they ditched right by the culvert, which granted the culverts might have not been doing their jobs, but it's all about the prep work beforehand. Like we would know if we were gonna ditch that we might need 3 culverts to replace those. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then if we pulled that material out of the ditch and threw it on top of the road, we would at least get a layer of rock, AB3 or clean 3/4, put on top of it, so then it's passable if it gets rain.
Okay. The best that I can say right now is that, we need that kind of communication with our contractor if they're gonna help maintain the road of what the plans are. We haven't had a lot of communication in writing via email. It's been mostly phone calls, so I've tried to get this started to where it's just through email so that I know what's been said, and so that I can hold my contractors accountable if they're not doing what is asked by the county roads and bridges. So if there's a process for major rain events, then I've left this kind of up to my contractor to communicate with the county to work on this, and I hear from both the contractor issues and from Cody when he calls me with issues. And so I'm trying to work hand in hand with both of them to try and keep these roads passable and workable while we do this work.
Meantime, we're getting our asses reamed because we're stuck in the middle of the road. That's just plain and simple. That's about as blunt as I can.
Okay.
And we have emergency crews and vehicles that have driven those roads and telling us that they cannot get up and down those roads at certain times.
Okay.
I know the contracts I've done with EPA in the past in Region 6, there was set aside money to make sure that those roads were maintained in a passable state at all times. At all times. Rain events, storm events, doesn't matter, they're passable at all times. There's weight restrictions put on the roads so they're not tore up, and I guarantee you, if we tore a road up and it wasn't fixed by the end of that day, you were shut down until the road was passable. Whether it be an hour or 2 weeks, you are not allowed to do your job until the county road is put back in place. That's my experience as a contractor for the EPA.
Okay.
My experience with KDHE, Kansas, there's set aside money in those contracts to make sure that the county roads are passable at all times. Any government contract I've ever done. You're telling me you have no money. I don't know how Region 7 does. I don't know. I never did any EPA work in Region 7.
Well, I have another
Apparently it's a lot
contract.
different than everybody else.
This one was written before I was involved, so it wasn't a contract that I wrote. But I can tell you that the contract that I have that's in the process of being awarded does have money set aside to maintain the roads. With this contract, I've had to move money around to try and pay to keep it
I
passable.
would think that would be a standard contract.
I would
At the
too.
end of-
Where's the discretion come in? That shouldn't be.
I don't know.
I don't have an
You know,
answer
you're,
because I didn't
you're
write this
asking us
contract.
to accept your word, but you may not be with EPA tomorrow. That's why you have contracts and road use agreements and it's with the agencies, not with individuals like you. Nothing against you, but
Mhm.
again, you may not be here tomorrow.
You do have a signed letter, whether or not it's me, and if I'm not around, it's still a signed letter from the EPA that has a road repair commitment. So we've started the process for the road repairs.
Well, again, if we didn't have a history with EPA on previous projects, that might have some sort of meaning to us, but.
Well, that's why I'm here talking to you guys, so you guys know who I am. And I'm letting you know that my plan is to be here for quite a while in Cherokee County, and I'd like to repair that relationship with the EPA so that you guys can come to me with concerns and I can help you guys with those as we move forward on these contracts. Because with this new prioritization of lead from this administration, there's probably going to be more work for lead, and especially in this county, being that it's one of the oldest lead sites in America. So I'd like to keep
Yeah,
a
they've
good
been working here
relationship
for
with you guys.
30 years and still ain't got it figured out.
It's a lot of work.
Best thing to do is leave it alone.
Uh,
Pretty well heals itself.
Well, there's a priority, and we
I understand.
put the contracts in to get the work done. So
Yeah.
if you'd like, I can tell you the current contracts we have going right now. And
Yes.
so we have the OU3, OU8 contract, which is the one that in particular has been a lot of damage done to the roads. So that's addressing non-residential soils just outside of Baxter Springs. We also have a couple rail lines, which would be operable Unit 8 that's down.
Non-residential soils you're remediating?
Yeah, because non-residential soils often recontaminate areas that have already been remediated. And so they run off with the rain into the streams and the rivers, contaminate sediment, go further downstream into Oklahoma. And so we do remediate non-residential soils as well, and it is part of the environmental portion of the EPA. Our first goal is human health, second is the environment. So that's the contract we have going right now for OU3. OU8 is former rail lines, which we have a couple that are outside of Galena right now that we're working on. We have residential contracts in both Baxter Springs and Galena. So those are operable units 3 and operable unit 7. We have a cooperative agreement with the Quapaw that's doing work just outside of the former town of Treese on a small tributary to Elm Creek that's right along State Line Road. We are also, we have a contract with the Early Bird Repository to manage the waste that we bring to them from all of these sites. And then we also have 2 removal contracts that are happening right now here in Columbus for some residential properties. Am I missing any?
Where?
We do have one in Weir as well. Weir is it's its own Superfund site, so I'm not the manager of Weir, but it is within Cherokee County, and there's some work going on out there for remedial investigation and feasibility studies for residential soils.
We're gonna do 20 removal properties.
Oh, do we?
And all that material goes to the same place at the river.
So we have 20 removal properties there as well that'll be going to Bird.
What percentage of the remediation are you doing is a duplication of what was done previous years?
None of it, yeah, none of it really. I mean, so they've lowered the lead screening level to 200 parts per million. That's not currently what our cleanup level is. We did a for the residential properties, we did a ROD amendment or an ESD to lower the cleanup level from 800 to 400 parts per million, but we are cleaning down to 200 parts per million. So locations on some of the same properties that have contamination above the current remedial action level would be properties that we would be addressing. Wouldn't be the same locations on the property. There may be some overlap on that based on the current sampling.
Well, the current sampling, the standards are the, less, right, than what it was years ago?
No,
You
no.
have to have more parts per million several years ago than you do now?
Well, so the cleanup level is lower now than it was. It was 800 parts per million. And they were cleaning down to 500 parts per million. We're looking now at 400 part per million as the remedial action level. That gets you onto a property, and then if there are levels on the property down to as low as 200 parts per million, we would clean those up as well.
So, again, you don't have to have quite as many parts per million now as you did before. So
That's-
my question is, or was, those that you already remediated several years ago under more strict guidelines
Right.
required more lead contamination, why would they need to be redone?
Well, so we're assessing those properties. The properties when they were sampled back before that work was completed, it wasn't quite, it doesn't meet the standard for today. So we're really breaking these properties into dividable areas, and then those locations are independently sampled. Many of those locations that were remediated back, in the 1990s, those are locations that would not have to be readdressed. In some
Would not
cases,
have to what?
they would not have to be cleaned up again.
Well, I ran into one the other day that was, and that's why I called the EPA Friday, and I still haven't had a response on that. That's why I wondered how many properties are being duplicated or,
Well, like I said, we're basing it solely on the sampling data that we get. Ideally,
I don't know why you'd even go sample a property that's been remediated under more stringent.
and they're not our priority properties.
Some of those, they would have cells that would exceed 800, the cleanup level would be down to 500. Any cell that was below 500 wouldn't be remediated. So we may go back to a property that had been remediated before, and they could have had cells that were in the 400s or 300s, and those cells would be remediated at this time under the new guidance. So obviously, one of the things that's discussed is 0 would be the ideal number of lead, but that's pretty impossible. It's almost impossible to get 0 lead, especially in this region. And so part of that is there's new guidance, we have to follow guidance. And so some of these samples and these properties that we sample would come back with different cells that exceed what the new guidance is.
And where's the contaminated soil going?
That goes to Early Bird Repository, which is just north of Star Road, just south of I-66. And I believe it's 10th Street where the entrance is. So that's gonna, at one point, it's owned by Williams Diversified Materials right now. It's in the future, that will become a pretty large repository. Right now, they're still selling chat out of that facility, and we bring in our contaminated soils and waste, mine waste that's deposited in a different part of the property. So eventually that will become a repository.
Well, I think you were here to let us vent. I think we have vented. I don't know that anything's been accomplished, but hope that your remarks about goodwill is gonna go a lot better than it has in the past.
Well,
Because again, we do have a history.
If it's okay with you guys, I'd like to come back quarterly and speak with you guys and let you know about any progress that we've made, and you guys can let me know about anything. And you have my email, my phone number, if you guys wanna call me or let me know anything, you can reach out to me. I have no problem with that, but I can come by quarterly and meet with you guys and just let you know that I'm still here. I'm still working in the area,
Welcome to be
filling
on
in.
the agenda at any time.
So I'll plan to come back quarterly and speak with you, and if you guys have any problems between then and now, give me a call or shoot me an email, and I'll stay in communication with Cody on the roads.
So you keep that guy happy, and it's probably gonna keep the calls down that we get.
That's what we're hoping. So,
He's not hard to please, he just wants things done right.
yep,
Okay, thank you guys.
Thanks, Thomas.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Do you have a card?
I don't have one on me, but I'll bring one up to you.
Excuse me. Down at the newspaper.
Okay.
Huh.
I'm actually down this last too.
Got a lot solved with that. They're going to try to get enough money to do what they should do. That's what I got too. Do you have anything else?
They wanted me to ask about a special, they wanted to get me as a notary in the office. And so I would leave 2 checks, one to the state and one to Kellum.
Isn't that normally goes through payables, I've seen it many times.
Goes through payables.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, got it.
Jake, do you have anything for us?
Oh, man. Rob, you need something?
Robert? Nothing, Jeremy?
No, my pretty face here.
It's gonna be a while before we meet again. Jim?
For Friday, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that at 9 a.m.?
Yes. You need to change that, better time for you. Rebecca made that, I don't care.
And I'm good with early.
Make it earlier, I can probably be here. I'll be over at Springfield at 9:40.
Yeah, if you guys know an hour and a half drive.
Yeah. Okay.
Is 8 better for you? Let's change that to 8 o'clock.
That's just the payables.
Yes. You're not needed.
I'll be across the street, so if something comes up, give me a call.
Nobody has anything?
I have nothing.
Anybody out here have anything?
Okay.
Yes. I have a check here, should
What do I
they
do with
just
that check?
deposit that in there? Should that not have gone to the court? Say the clerk.
That's what I call the clerk.
It's gonna take a minute.
Well, that's fine. They can, anybody's looking.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with us. No action.
Yeah, you just wanna scan it into, scan and send it to me.
Okay, okay.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor? Aye.